for having me here. It's great to be here. And what we're going to do is a live market analysis using supply and demand. I'm going to teach you a little bit about supply and demand, and we're going to go into the live markets now and looking at exactly what's happening now in the markets. So you're going to walk away learning something new about how to use a very simple approach to reading any market that's independent of anything else. So you can see the slide change. Yeah, this is a picture of me giving this presentation at the New York Traders Expo. And a quick disclaimer, just bear in mind all comments I make are for educational purposes only. You all know there's a high degree of risk involved in all types of trading, and we're not responsible for your trading and investment results. I'm going to show you today, one of my traders actually sent me his results, and they're pretty outstanding. Someone who started right from the get-go, went through my training, went through mentoring with me, and he showed me what he's done over the past since the beginning of this year when he started trading after I taught him. So here's a little bit about me, and you can read that. I've been trading for over 15 years now, and I started my professional life at Credit Suisse in '96. So I've been in always in the financial sector. TradeSmart is a trading education business, and we focus on teaching you how to read the market professionally. Very important to understand how to read the market and how to run a successful trading business. And that includes how to develop your own trading plan and strategies which fit your personality and lifestyle. In order to succeed as a trader, you must develop something of your own. Or if you're taking someone else's strategy, you have to make it yours before you can succeed at it. It has to be tailor-made for you. Much like if you go into a shop and you take a suit off the peg, it may not fit you. But if you learn how to become a tailor, then you can tailor make anything to fit you. Just because it fits someone else doesn't mean it's going to fit you. And that's could be the issue that many people have jumping from system to system because they haven't quite found what fits them. It may work for the person teaching you, but it might not work for you because it doesn't fit your personality. So we're going to cover this. Why am I always wrong? We're going to go into professional chart reading. We're going to step it up a bit, and you won't find this in any book. We're going to dive into supply and demand, and then we're going to jump into the live markets. We're going to look primarily at Forex today, and maybe we'll look at some futures contracts as well, but primarily Forex, because that's what this week is, or today is all about. And then I'll open up for audience questions and answers, and I'll also share with you how you can take the next step if this is suitable for you. So here's the first problem that many traders ask. Why am I always wrong? Why is it always when I enter on the buy side, the market goes against me? So let me explain what this looks like, and then you're going to understand why. So the market looks like this, and you may have learned to identify an uptrend, maybe using moving averages. So you identify an uptrend, and you decide to take your first buy over here. You might not even have a stop because guess what? Every trade's got to work, of course. Yeah. So the market starts to move in your favor. And before you know it, you're up a little bit. And before you know it, the market starts to move to the downside. And you look at your screen, you look at your P&L, and your heart starts to beat faster. Your palms start to sweat. Your knees start to shake. If you can relate to that, just type yes in the chat area. I'm not seeing the chat area, but just type yes over there and raise your hand and say, yes, that's me. And then when you can't take it anymore, your emotions kick in and you close out the trade. Now you want to get that money back the market just took from you. So you go on the short side because the market's obviously going down now, and you try and make the money back, and you get double the size, and it starts to move against you. And starts to move initially in your favor, and you're kind of starting to make it back, and then all of a sudden the market runs to the upside and you take your second losing trade. Now you decide, okay, the market must be going up, so you take your third trade, maybe bigger size, you want to make it all back. Now you're trading emotionally. That's how you shouldn't be trading, but you're ruled by your emotions at this point, and you look at the market and you just want that money back, and you don't know how you're going to tell your spouse how much money you've just lost on your new career. Yeah. So the market starts to move in your favor again, and then turns around to the downside, and you take your third losing trade. So now you're starting to get a bit cleverer. You decide, I'm going to take a step back now. I'm buying up here in uptrends. Yeah, it's an uptrend. And I'm selling down here in a downtrend. So I learned a little bit something called maybe support resistance, where you draw the peaks and draw the troughs. So I kind of put a line over here, and when the market comes up, instead of being on the buy side now, because I'm going to sell. So you take a sell over here, and then what does the market do? It goes higher. And you take your fourth losing trade, and you throw your hands up in the air, and you say, oh dear. And you may have a little bit of money left in your trading account at that point. Now, the question is this: why is this happening to you? Why are you always on the wrong side of the market? Wouldn't it be good to understand why? So what you need to do is learn about something called supply and demand. Supply and demand is the force that moves any market. It's the supply-demand equation is what causes prices to move. Why are there imbalances between supply and demand? It doesn't matter if you can understand what you're looking at on the chart. The chart tells you what's happening. Why it's happening? Well, you can go and look at the news. The news will always report the market moved up today because, and whatever's happening in the world at that moment will be the reason why, their interpretation. They'll never say what's going to happen in the market based on the news before it happens. They always tell you afterwards the reason why the market did or whatever happened, like why did oil drop off when it did, when it went into negative territory for the first time ever? Why did that happen? So you have to trade what is happening. And I was always taught when I was first on the trading floor, asking why when you're in a trade is a very dangerous question. If you're asking why and the trade is going against you, it's probably a good idea to get out. If you don't understand why the market's doing what it's doing based on price action, then you're at a huge disadvantage. So what I'm going to do is introduce you to professional chart reading. When I first started trading, I was trading on the New York Stock Exchange, and I was trading the specialist system, as in we would watch the specialists, what they were doing by looking at the prints going off on the time and sale, which is whenever the trade is done, there's a print that says the share size and the time it happens. That's why it's called time and sales. And obviously every trade that goes off is a buy and a sell. It's a transaction between a buyer and seller that agree to transact at a certain price. And then you have level 2, and then there's also level 3. There's different, there's the open book, the specialist open book. And by looking at this, we were taught to identify what the specialist was doing because they had an edge. They saw the order flow. They were the buyer and seller of last resort, like most market makers are. And we would spot that what they were doing and do something similar. So when the specialist was buying, we would buy. When the specialist was selling, we would sell. Once we spotted certain patterns going on. So what happens is this: once the New York Stock Exchange went hybrid, part human, part computer, the system that I was taught to trade no longer worked. And eventually the trading floor closed down. So it was back to the drawing board. So wouldn't it be a good idea to develop a trading system that wasn't based on an edge that's going to be around just for now, and it may change come tomorrow? Much like, any technology company, maybe a new technology comes out and then it's no longer relevant anymore. For example, a CD player, CDs, no longer relevant. And various other technological companies that became, non-existent because technology moved on. So too in the world of trading, if you're learning a very specific strategy, a way of trading the market that's specific to this period of time that we're in, for example, then what are you going to do when the times change? You need to learn something that stands the test of time. So what I've done over the years that I've been trading is put it down to 3 things. It's really 4 things, but it's 3. Understanding pivot analysis. Now that's not trader pivots. That's understanding how to read the trend using pivot analysis in the market. So you understand when a trend begins and ends. Very important to do. And again, we use this to identify the market top before the market crashed. And we also used it to identify the market bottom, not only in the stock market, also in gold, in oil. We used it for oil. And I'll show you these charts as we go into the markets. We're going to jump into the live market, and I'm going to show you examples exactly of what happened. And then we can look at what the markets are doing now and try and project forward, because that's where you make decisions. When I teach my traders how to trade, we don't teach them by looking at charts that have happened. We teach in the live market, as we do every day in our trading room, where we look at the markets and we say what is happening and what you should be doing now, what the odds are. Is the market going up? Once you know the market is more likely to go up and down, then you want to be on the buy side. The next thing you need is a strategy in which to enter into the trade and manage risk, and then manage the trade. So pivot analysis is the first thing you need, understanding trend. Then you need to understand where the trends begin and end. That's in areas of supply and demand. This is not support and resistance. They're two different things. Supply and demand is not abstract. It's real. It's based on orders that are in the market. Buy and sell orders that are sitting in the market. If you can identify where those big orders are, then that's where the market's likely going to turn. But you also need to understand, if you go back to the initial example of being on the wrong side of the trade, when those levels are likely to break or when they're likely to be broken through. Wouldn't that be a good thing to know? What the odds are, you don't know anything 100%. That's impossible. But you know most of the time in a certain scenario, that level's going to break. So you don't trade against the level, for example. You don't go against the trend. You trade it to break through the level. And another thing that you need to understand is something called price direction analysis. And again, I think I'm probably the only person in the trading world probably teaching that. And that's understanding which direction price is actually moving in. Is it moving up or is it moving down? Wouldn't it be a good idea, for example, if you're in an uptrend, if you identify an uptrend and the market moves down, has a pullback to an area of demand, and the price direction changes from down to up, wouldn't that be a good place to engage the trade, to get in and manage risk? And you need to be able to do that on multiple time frames, because you could be in an uptrend on an hourly chart, but that trend may be coming into a bigger area of supply, for example, on the daily chart. So the odds of that trend continuing are maybe lower. So you don't want to engage an uptrend towards the end of it. So you need to identify where that is. And if you look at the bottom of the screen here, the charts will teach you all you know once you have a framework for reading them. Wouldn't it be good to be in a position as a trader where you can be completely independent of anyone, of any guru, of any analysis that someone else is doing, and you can completely rely on your own analysis of the market? And once you have a framework, then the market will teach you everything you need to know. The market is your biggest teacher. You just need to know how to read it. Once you can read it, then you can start to learn all its nuances, and they change over time. What works today may not exactly work tomorrow in the same sort of way. But once you have a framework in which to read the market, you can read any market. I'm going to show you some examples of that as we go on. So let's go back to basics. I'm assuming everyone here understands candlesticks. So these are two very basic candlesticks that people learn when they learn candlestick charts, learning candlesticks. So this is called a hammer and a shooting star. Now let me ask you a question. Let's start with this one over here. This shooting star, is it bullish or bearish? Now just type it into the chat area. I don't know if I can see the chat area, but just type into the chat area. Is it bullish or is it bearish? Let me see if I can chat. Here we go. I can see the chat now. Okay, so I'm seeing people saying bearish, bearish. Someone says bullish. So the question, the real question is, it depends. This one's bullish, generally, and this one's bearish, generally, but that's not true. It depends on the scenario, the context. So taking a candlestick out of context is meaningless. Yeah, this by itself could be bullish and could be bearish. It depends. So let's go into an example over here. Now, this is a question I actually asked to an audience, that audience that you saw in the first picture I showed at the New York Traders Expo last year. And I asked the question, is this bar bullish or bearish? You have a movement up in price, and this is on the hourly chart. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the 6th bar has a tail up here. What's likely to happen next? Is the market likely to move up or down? So type it in the chart, in the chat area. Okay, so let's have a look and see what happened next. The market moved up a little bit. Is it going to go down now? So the question is this bar bullish or bearish? Now, when we traded this in the trading room, this was back in 2018, and we bought here. And our first target area was here, and we had another target area that I'm going to show you in a second. This is bullish. Now, if we go back to the original framework in which we understand the market based on price direction, supply and demand, and pivot analysis, as in trend, if you look over here, we're moving in an upward moving market. Price direction is up. The market's moving up. If you go to a lift and you want to go from the 10th floor to the 15th floor and the arrow's pointing up, it means it's going up. That's what it's doing next. So the arrow's pointing up, we're going higher. Even after this bar, we're still pointing up. In terms of supply and demand, we just cleared above supply, and the next supply level's here. According to the way that we draw, these are the supply and demand zones that we draw on the charts. Okay, they're not done by any algorithm. We do them ourselves by eye, and most people that learn how to do this, we pick very similar zones. Okay, it's more objective than subjective. Once you get good at this, good traders will pick the same zones. Now, so in terms of the three things that we learn, price direction is up. What's that telling me? Price is likely to go higher. The trend is starting to move up. So prices are likely to go higher. In terms of supply and demand, I'm above supply. So, and my next supply zone here. So where's it likely to go? To the next level. So three reasons why I want to be on the buy side here. So I do not sell in this. Does that mean the market's not going to go down? Of course it doesn't. It means the odds are in my favor. I have three things telling me, the three major things of any market. Supply and demand, that's probably the most important, where you are in relation to supply and demand. The trend's your friend, obviously, until the bend in the end. Most people miss that out. And what happens next is this. This was our first target. Notice what happened to this supply. At this supply level, prices came back down. Yeah. And then they continue moving up. We're still in uptrend. We go a bit sideways here, but the trend continues to the upside to the next level. So most people think this, and those of you who are in here now, some of my traders that are probably in here, you can probably type in the chat area. Those of you who remember from a couple of years ago that we actually took this trade on the long side, and it was a nice move. So what is supply and demand, and why is it so important? Prices move higher when there's more demand than supply, yeah? And prices move lower where there's more supply than demand. I'm going to go through this quite quickly because I want to jump into the charts. And prices move sideways where supply and demand are in equilibrium. That's a fact, okay? No one can argue with that. So let me ask you a question. What moves the markets? When I first started trading, we used to get on the trading floor. I was working, we used to work I was an equity trader, as I said, trading New York Stock Exchange. And we used to get to the office about 3 hours before. So we were there Eastern time, 6:30 in the morning. And we were going through balance sheets. We were going through the news ahead of time. We were going through upgrades and downgrades, earnings reports, whatever was going on. We were going and trying to build a list of what we were going to trade for the day. Is it the news that moves markets? Is it global events? Or is it just supply and demand, and whatever's causing supply and demand to move could be whatever's happening in the world? It could be tsunami, it could be a pandemic, it could be anything. It could be the property crash, the bubble, anything. But if you can read it in the chart, does it matter what's causing it? This is going back. So I used to spend hours looking at the news. I don't do that anymore. I'm aware of when news is coming out, so I know there's going to be volatility in the market, but I don't really care what the news is from a trading perspective. I switched that all off. I used to work on a trading floor when I was at Credit Suisse. All this, we had almost, it was a noisy floor. There was lots of screens with news and different reports and different, there was a lot of things going on. My office where I trade now, nothing. Don't watch the news, not interested. I can see what I need to in the market. The market tells me, price tells me what's happening. Why is it happening? Supply and demand. Why is supply and demand imbalance? Doesn't matter. And guess what? Once you've got this understanding of the market, this will never change. Supply and demand has been around since the beginning of time, and it will be around till the end of time. And if you can read supply and demand in the market, you've got a distinct advantage over someone who does not know how to read that. So your job now is to identify supply and demand on a chart. Once you can do that, then you know where the markets are going to move from and to. So the charts look something like this. So what you really need to identify is the turning points in the market. Now, you don't know it's going to turn until it turns, but once the market turns, this can be identified as a demand. It's a zone. It's like a mattress as opposed to a pane of glass. Okay, there's a bit of give and take. It's a zone, it's an area. Professional traders buy and sell in zones. And supply is here where prices dropped. Now, this is keeping it super simple. What we're going to do is go into the charts now, and I'm going to show you how to do it in the real market. So what I'm going to do now is identify high probability turning points. Now, as a caveat here, it's recommended that you do go through our training program, but it also depends how you learn. I'm going to share with you how to take the first step that will give you a good idea whether this is what you want to do. So let's jump into the live markets now. So what I need to do is, I need to change the screen. Okay, let's do that. New share. And let's see if I can pick the right screen. Let's move it and get the right one. Okay, this one. Okay, just let me know that you can see the charts of the euro dollar. You guys see it? Okay, thanks guys. Okay, so let's jump in. We'll start with the dollar. Now you can see I have zones on the chart, and you can see the market's actually currently moving in a sideways trend. Sideways is also a trend. And you can see the volatility we had at the beginning of this pandemic. We kind of shot up, but came down. And notice where we came down to, and notice where we went up to. And the dollar has just been moving up and down in this range. Now it will break eventually. Now the question is, which way is it going to break and when? That's a good question to ask. I don't know that yet. There's not enough information in this chart yet. But soon, once it appears, because I've mastered reading the sideways moving markets, bases, I'm going to put out a training on that soon, which will go into all the different nuances of bases, how to play a base before it breaks out and know which direction it's going to break in. So when you're in, you can actually make money on the base, even if it doesn't break out in that direction. So that's kind of a sweet spot of trading, that you can have a trading idea and get an entry on the trade that even if the trading idea doesn't play out in your favor, you're still going to be profitable on the trade. Wouldn't that be a great thing to do? Wouldn't it be great to take any trade like that? That you can be profitable even if the trading idea doesn't play out in your favor, doesn't go all the way. Let's have a look at the euro. Now the euro, if we look at trend again, why is this likely to go up from here this week? Okay, could have gone down, but why is it likely to go up? So everyone in my trading room knows this push up pushed above this high. So this pullback's buyable, and we just put in a higher low here. So it's likely we're going to push up above this area. Okay, so this week you want to be on the buy side. So here was the entry. If you understand supply and demand on the hourly chart, you guys can still see this. Here's demand. There's a big, notice this big bar to the upside. This happened on Friday last week. So on Monday, we're waiting for price to come back down here and turn. Here we have a move down to demand, something called a price direction change to the upside, and there's your move. Not bad for an intraday trade. We call this out in our trading room. And today, the market's continuing to move to the upside, okay? You can see we cleared above supply here, and we see another bar like this, and we're moving up, not down. And again, you can see the levels here. Here's a push up, here's a pullback to demand. This is demand, this is zone. You want to be a buyer here. There's the move today. Let's look at the pound. We'll go through a few more. Okay, this is very interesting as well. So here's a base that we played on the short side over here. Once you understand how to read bases, you can be in here before it breaks down. And there's many people in our trading room that took this trade. It took a few days, but it broke down because I'm not going to go into the details here, but basically the odds here are we're going to break below the base. If you get in on the break of the base, look what happens. It snaps back. We may get another move down here that may go down here. We'll know that in a day or so. Yeah, whatever happens in today and tomorrow is going to give us an idea of if the pound is going down here or we're going back up again. Okay, so this is what you need to understand. We've gone below demand and we're moving back into demand from below, which is now supply. And you can see the market, what it's done today, it's deciding which way am I going. So you need to understand, you see my levels? These are levels that we have ahead of time. So you could have traded, even if it didn't break the base, over here down to the bottom. And then here to break. And now there's going to be an opportunity, potentially, if it turns, to take it down here. And this is a nice move. Okay, there's a reason why it may not happen if you look at the monthly chart, because we're actually in demand. Even though we've gone below this area, we snapped back. Let's look at the Australian dollar. Australian dollar is more likely to move to the upside. And again, here's a base, and here's the move to the upside. And we pointed out in our trading room as well that this is likely to break to the upside, not the downside, based on the monthly chart. This is a big move down. Notice where it stopped. Just pull this up. This was a buy down here. And again, this is another trade we called out in our trading room. Why? Look left. This is the start of this move to the upside. So when the market drops down hard into this area, you want to think buy. I'm going to show you also on gold. Let's go into gold. And remember that the Australian dollar is a commodity currency that runs, sometimes it's going together with gold. Okay, so gold's going up. We find this is probably going up too. And you see the different levels when this supply level is hit here. What happens to price? And again, you can take these as intraday trades when it hit this level up here. Now, why is that a level? It's going back from way back when. Okay, so there's a level sitting here where there's big, I'm looking for areas where there's big drops, where the big drops or big moves to the upside begin. You can see down here. And you can see a nice trend setting up here and where it stops. These levels we mark out in our weekly preparation sessions so everyone's on the same page. And what you can do is once you learn how to start doing them, you can do them yourself. Compare with what I do in the weekly preparation session on Sunday, and we have a recording of that if you can't make the live session. And you can go and see, and you can see ahead of time where the market's likely to move from and to. Now let's look at the yen. This is a trade we called 2 days ago in our trading room as well. Now, based on trend, look at the daily chart. This is moving down. Lower low, lower high, it's moving down. We said that this is likely to fail to make a new low, and actually we put in a higher low over here. So the next move of the market is to the upside. Why? We're closer down to demand levels on the bigger time frames. You can see here we came into demand and now we've broken the downtrend here on the weekly chart. So yesterday, the market was basing over here. You want to be on the buy side. Here's an entry. It's going to break to the upside, and there's the move. It's a nice move. And our first target was 117, second target 118. So I went a little bit, it did that yesterday. So this was actually on Monday, not yesterday. It was on Monday. It took the second target yesterday, Tuesday. So this was the trade we called out in our room. As it happened, we called it on a I believe it was a 5-minute chart with a 20 pip stop, and there's a 200 pip move. So it's a 10-to-1 trade. As in, if you'd risk $1,000 in this trade and you hold the whole position to the target, you'd make $10,000. And if you took out half here and half here, you'd make $15,000. Sorry, it's like half, 7.5. Okay, and the other trade that we looked at as well was this one, same reason. If you understand trend, this pushed up, broke the downtrend, so this pullback's buyable. And we put in a higher low, price direction up, so where are we going? 108. So we get in here. I actually took this trade on Friday last week over over here. Entry, stop, target at 108. Okay, and there was another entry if you got out of it, didn't want to hold over the weekend, which is probably not a good idea in the Forex market because sometimes there's a gap risk, weekend gap risk. And another entry here or here, and then play up. Notice what happens when it hits the 108. That was our target ahead of time. Market turns to the downside, it hits supply, knowing where those levels are. So let me take you back and share with you how you can take the next step. And then when we would jump back in the market again. You share, let's go back to here. That's a very good question there. Is there a way to recognize false breakouts? Yes, I'm an expert in that. I actually trade breakouts in the opposite direction. They're called bull and bear traps. Yeah, when you have a trap, a bull trap that traps you on the buying a breakout to the upside, and know exactly how to recognize them and actually trade them on the other side. Actually, so we'll go. I can maybe if there's time at the end, I can share with you how to do that. But again, if you join our trading room, I'll point them out when they happen, and you will know how to get into trades. Instead of getting into the zones where you're going to get stopped out, I'll show you where to get in at a better level that you don't get stopped out. So you can get a tighter stop and get in where everyone else is being stopped out. Not just on false breakouts, but so I know how to recognize them pretty well. And that's part of understanding how to read bases. Knowing when they're going to break out, when it's likely to be a false breakout, and knowing ahead of time so you can plan your trade. So just share with you a quick success story. And this is from about 2 years ago. And I'm going to share with you something that I just got today, just before. So this is Jane. And Jane started with me in the beginning, I think, of 2018. And it took about 3 months to get to consistent profits. That's what she wrote. All I can say to anyone who wants to consistently profit, just do it. That training turned my whole trading around. From that day on, my trading has been so consistent, it is really mind-blowing. Once you understand the levels and can read the trend, you will beat the market every single day. However, the key is follow the pivot analysis, use the supply and demand levels, and adapt it to your own trading style. Be very disciplined, don't be greedy. Stop when you have made your daily profit, and you will turn losing trades into winning consistently day in and out. Simon's training can be adapted to any market. I mainly trade the NASDAQ and NASDAQ futures and oil futures. I use my own strategy based on Simon's education. I found the best thing was knowing what you were doing gives you confidence in your trades, and the fear of losing was gone. Trading had become a lifestyle, no longer a binary gamble or a nervous hope job. Believe me, it is the best and only training to succeed with. So now that you've seen a simple and powerful approach to reading the market, share with you the basics, take it a step further and learn how to read the trend using pivot analysis, step 1. So what are the benefits of knowing how to read the trend? Trade in the direction of the trend. Remember, the trend is your friend until the bend in the end. You'll know exactly when a trend begins and exactly when a trend ends. So those are trades, for example, I just showed you on the euro yen and the dollar yen, where the trend ends and it starts to move in the other direction. So you buy the first pullback, for example, after a trend change, very high probability. And make sure that you're never fighting the trend. Make sure you're on the right side of the market. Will help you develop a profitable trading strategy, just that alone, or enhance an existing trading strategy. So I want to invite you to join my How to Read the Trend training session, plus trading room. And I'm going to share with you what this offer is and how it's beneficial to you. What you're going to learn is how to identify the current trend of the market. To analyze the trend in multiple timeframes. For example, you could be in an uptrend on the daily chart, but a downtrend on the 1 hour chart. So knowing how to engage the downtrend on the hourly chart and when it's likely to end and continue and go in line with the daily uptrend. Wouldn't that be a good thing to know? So you can actually trade both trends. Intraday, you can trade on the downtrend on the hourly chart, and when it ends, you can actually switch your position to a long position, for example, and go in the direction of the bigger trend. So you'll know exactly when that happens, exactly when it begins, exactly when it ends, and you'll learn how this knowledge will dramatically affect your bottom line. Again, it doesn't matter what's going on in the news. These patterns play themselves out in the market all the time. We had David in our trading room who learned to trade with me over 10 years ago. And he showed people in the trading room from 5 years ago trades he took that are exactly the same as trades he took yesterday and the day before. Exactly the same. The same trades, the same plan, no need to change anything. Will work now, will work forever. It's understanding how to read the market first and then applying your trading plan in the right way, your strategy in the right way. Understanding when to go for bigger moves and when to go for shorter moves. Understanding if you're in a trending market or in a sideways choppy market, and then adjusting how you trade accordingly, much the same as when you're driving, understanding the road conditions and driving accordingly. You don't drive the same on the Autobahn as you do when you're trading through a pedestrian zone, a pedestrian area. You don't trade in snowy conditions the same as you do in hot, sunny conditions. It's different, but it's still the same driving. You're still driving the same car. You just need to know how to adjust to different conditions. And what you can do is watch us analyze and trade the live markets in real time every single day. How we set up to trade, how we wait for the trades to come to us, how we execute them, how we understand what's happening in the market, and we share that with you. Everything that we do. So here's what people are saying. Tom, I wanted to say, I think what you teach in how to read the trend training course is brilliant. Before that, I had picked up bits and pieces from different traders, but it was never joined up. Your course brought it all together in a very structured and algorithmic way. No guessing needed. The facts jump off the chart. You are a mastermind. Matt, the trading room, and he's been trading for over 10 years. I think maybe even longer than that. The trading room is very helpful in understanding how to go through the process. I've been trading, here you go, for 11 years, and I've not seen anything like what you do. Love how simple it is. I mainly trade options with trades that last 30 to 60 days. I've been looking for something I could use to day trade for 2 years now. I want to round out what I am doing with another source of profits. I've not been able to find anything I could execute consistently. I'm just paper trading with your system. I've been doing it for a couple of weeks now, and I've had far better results than anything I've ever tried. Assuming this continues, I will take it live sometime in late March, which is probably already now. Markus, Simon's probably one of the best coaches out there with a heartfelt passion for coaching and a real understanding of how the market works. He helps you view everything in a new way. The way he teaches is also really good, and he goes through it until you understand. I can honestly say I've gotten more out of this training than I expected. So again, this is what you're going to get in this training. So for 1.5 hours of training, it's usually $397. It's on demand. You can watch it as many times as you want. And you've got personal access to me, and you can email me any follow-up questions. Plus, you're going to be in the live trading room for 1 month. So you can ask me live, or Mike, or any of the other moderators in the room, any questions you have about your trading. So it's a trading education room. We're trading live. And you can ask your questions if you have on what you've learned so far as well. So let me just share with you, I'll share with you the offer. I want to show, actually before I do that, I want to share with you these results. And I'll just pull them up. This is the results I just got from one of my traders who started trading in January this year. Let me see if I need to share the screen again. You share, and let's pull this up. He just sent me this from his broker platform. So let me just show you. You guys can see this spreadsheet. Just sent me this now. I haven't even saved it. I've just opened it in an email. Just let me know you can see it. Let's see. Okay. Yep. David, you guys can see it. Perfect. Okay, so I'm just going to show you. These are all the trades he did. Now, this guy is a lawyer full-time, and he wants to transition into trading full-time. Here is trading part-time, and this is January. He has a I think it was about a 15 or 16,000 pound account. That's it. So in January, I made a profit. February made a loss. But look at March, April, and May so far. And again, this is so far, I think, including even going to May. Yeah, including today. So if you look at today, today he's up. I don't know why it's not summing them up, but he's up nicely today. Yeah. And this is interest, obviously, if you've got carry, yeah, if you're holding trades overnight. So these are his trades, and you can see this is a pretty good return starting to make. If you look at the average over here, it's around £3,000 a month, just over £3,000 a month. And this is extra income above and beyond his regular job, but he wants to transition into full-time trading. Now you can see this. If you look at the actual overall profits, it's 100% return on his account in 5 months. Started with about 50, I think it was around a 15 or 16,000 pound account, and he's made 16,000 pounds profit, including having, February wasn't a great month. But he's learning. This is the beginning. He's making mistakes still, and we're going to work on that with coaching sessions. But this is show you what you can actually do. I have many people that have gone through the training, and I was the first person to ever teach him anything about trading. Yeah. Jane came to me, one of the first people to teach her about trading. Okay, same too. So it's easier when people come with no knowledge, people ask you, when you have to have previous knowledge, it's probably better not to. Maybe you've got a bit of experience, but you may build bad habits, yeah? No one's perfect, we make mistakes, and we're gonna have losing trades, and see there's lots of losing trades. Some of them are bigger than you should be, but on average, he's making money consistently, and this is pretty good. Okay, let me get back to let's close this down. Let's get back to, okay, let's see if we're getting this back. Okay, I'm getting used to it now, David. Okay, so this is what you get in the training. It's, again, an hour and a half, around about. You don't want to spend hours and hours and hours on it. You want to learn what you need to do as quickly as possible and get everything you need with no fluff. There's no fluff. This is exactly what you need. And if you go through it, you'll see it's super powerful, super simple, super powerful. It's on demand. You get personal access to me, and you get 1 month in the live trading room. Now, this is the offer. You join now. The regular price is $894. The deadline's Friday, I think, May the 22nd. And you're going to receive $497 off, as in you're going to get the whole month in the trading room for free. So you pay $397 and you get access to the training forever and access to the trading room for a whole month. That includes the weekly preparation session. So what you need to do is go here. This is the link. I don't know if you can post it in the room, David, to everyone. You go to tradesmartforex.com/promo. And I'm going to share with you how to go through that. So if you join again, how to read the trend is $397. This is one of the highest selling, packages ever. Yeah. And most people that go through this, it has the possibility to change your life. Yeah. 1 month in the live trading room. So you can see us put it into practice straight away. Go through an hour and a half. It won't take you very long. An hour and a half, get the basics, come into the live trading. We'll be pointing out in real time as it's happening. You can see it for yourself. See it work for yourself. Seeing is believing. You'll see it work every single day. So it's a total of $894. You pay only $397. Okay, so what I want to do now is show you the actual process. And let's see if I can pick this up. So if you click on the link, I think David's posted it, and I'll share with you what you get on the inside, what it looks like on the inside. So I need to share the screen again. We're doing okay. Let's go again. You share, and let's pull this up. Okay, you should be able to see this. So this is what you get to. You get to this page over here. Okay, so click on the buy now, and it'll bring you to the checkout. Now, what I want you to see is that there is a monthly fee, but that's after the first month. And what I suggest that you do, if you don't want to continue paying monthly, is just set a reminder for yourself the day before to cancel it if you want to cancel it. I don't want anyone to be in the trading room if you don't want to be in the trading room, obviously, yeah. But you may find it super valuable for what it is, and people in the room are making way more than that in the month. Okay, one trade could make more than that, depending on your account size, of course. and it will give you access. You will be sent an email almost immediately with your login and your login name and password, username and password. Then you come to here, and you can get to, there's two ways you can come in. You can come in to the membership area through the link in the email, or you can actually come in through clicking on members here or here from the main website. That will bring you to the portal over here, and look and see that the portal is made up of two areas. Everything to do with education is here, the courses, and everything to do with the trading rooms here. So, and you can log in, and there's a help desk. If you have any questions, just click on the help desk. You can do that even ahead of time. If you have any questions about the training ahead of time, just click on here and ask your question, and we'll get back to you as quickly as possible. And this is all your profile. You can change your password, obviously, as well. Now, let's go through first how to read the market professionally, or how to trade professionally. If you go over here, you will have access just to how to read the trend for now. Now, how to read the trend is part of how to read the market professionally. As you can see here, there's sessions on supply and demand and also price direction. But start with this and see if this is for you. Yeah. How to read the trend. So you click on that and it will bring you to the training over here. So you go through the training and then you come into the live trading room. So the live trading room, again, you click on the portal here, access now. It'll bring you to the live trading room. Notice there's 3 tabs at the top. The live trading room and everything to do with it is here. This is where we do our live session. So you click on here and you register and you see the schedule. So you can see, you can come and join us tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. Eastern time. We run Sunday to Thursday, and you just click register now and you'll come in at these times into the live trading room and see the live broadcast and join in with everyone else. Join our community of traders. Now, the daily sessions are recorded. So if you miss it and you can't make it live, I've got people in there from Australia, from East Coast, West Coast of the US. So there's people coming in early hours of the morning. We have people from Jamaica and from almost every continent. So it's kind of amazing that people are putting this effort in, coming into sometimes the middle of the night for them. It's really, truly amazing. So I'm really humbled by the effort that people are putting in to learn this skill. Again, it's a skill, but you need to learn it the correct way. And as I said before, this is a framework in order to read the market. You're going to find yourself, you're going to be learning like to be a tailor, so you can make your own clothes, so to say, that fit you. So you're learning those skills, the skills of reading the market, then you'll be able to develop whatever strategies you want. So this is a daily session. The weekly preparation session is a standalone, but it's part of the live trading room as well, where you can come and hear the live session. So we have the session from this week. Click over here. This is a session we do every Sunday where we prepare and we set our zones and we explain why we're doing what we're doing, and we have an idea of what the market is likely to do, which way it's likely to play out, and then we actually follow on with that during each daily session. And then we have the previous weekly preparation session. So you can go and see what we said over here and the levels that we drew out. And towards the end of the session, if you don't want to watch the whole session, you can go to the end and just see where our zones are. We go through them one at a time. So you can go and learn how to do them yourself, and then go and see how it worked in the live market in real time. So this is basically our trading room. Let me put the share back. So again, how to read the trend is what you're going to get. It's $397. 1 month in the live trading room, $497. That's a total of $894. And today you pay $397. And again, this may be the best $397 you spend. And it may be the beginning of a new career for you, or the start of becoming a successful trader and actually finding your own way, finally. If nothing that you've done has worked up to now, this is most likely going to work for you, because we're not forcing you into a strategy that I'm trading. We have people in the room that are trading different strategies, but we're all based on the same framework of reading the market. I primarily trade on the hourly chart. I trade the daily charts primarily with hourly entries. Mike likes to trade on the 15-minute chart. Britt likes to trade on the 5-minute chart. And I think we have Kevin in the room, also likes to trade primarily on the hourly chart. And David likes to trade on the hourly chart primarily. So again, we've got people that are scalping, we've got people that are trading. We go through long-term trades as well, like a lot of the big moves in gold that we picked them up at the beginning and got out at the end, so to say. So that's what is on offer. So what I've gone through the checkout so you know what to do. So click on it, go through it. If you have any questions, you can type them into the room now, and I'll try and address them. So we've got a bit of time for questions. Thank you, Tusha, saying good presentation. Do we need any special software? No, you don't. What hours do I trade, or what hours do that's a question from Nancy. I trade the UK session, which is at 3 a.m. Eastern time. And I trade the US session, which starts at 8 a.m. Eastern time. But our trading room, we start half an hour beforehand, so we actually prepare to trade. Julia, thank you. Yeah. Shiv, that's the London Open at 3 a.m. Yeah, so every session has an open, and it's usually local time in that country at 8 a.m. So in the US, the Forex market official open is at 8 a.m. Eastern time. And in London, it's 8 a.m. as well, which happens to be 3 a.m. Eastern time. Yeah, that's the London Open. Yes, this works on stocks. So you saw that Jane trades futures. I have people that trade futures, people that trade options, people that trade stocks. You can trade anything that has a chart. Again, if you know how to read the chart, you can be successful at this. How long are you showing us how to trade? If you join the trading room, I'm going to be showing you every single day, Sunday to Thursday. What basically I do is I show you exactly what I do. You know, the weekly preparation session is what I do by myself anyway. So I'm just broadcasting live to you and explaining exactly what I'm doing. It used to take me on a Sunday, it used to take me 4 to 6 hours initially. I've got it down to about under an hour now. So I've got much quicker at doing it. Again, like any skill, once you get good at it, you can do it quickly. You see the zones that you need, quicker. Okay, any more questions? So again, just to understand, thank you very much, Shiv, excellent presentation. Just so you understand, this is what's extremely important that you understand. When you learn how to trade, again, I've gone through everything. I've been in this, I've been in the financial world since 1996, and I worked on trading floors at Credit Suisse. I worked at a number of other, funds, other hedge funds and whatever else, and now I work for myself. What's very important to understand is you need to find something that fits you. So instead of me teaching the strategy that I trade, I decided let's take a step back. Let's teach someone how to read the market. And when they look at the market and they see things that maybe I don't see as well, they can develop a strategy around it. And I teach people how to go and develop their own strategies that fit them, and how to actually prove that that strategy works. Again, you've got to make sure that what you're trading has a positive expectancy. If you have a strategy, you have to prove it has a positive expectancy. That means you will make money over time. We're not after a quick, get rich quick scheme. It's definitely not that. But if you want to make consistent profits over time, and even go through drawdowns and be able to, which happens to almost every trader at some point in their career, they're going to go through a number of losing trades in a row, but just to carry on, keeping to the rules, keeping to the plan, knowing that you will make money over time. Even if you flick a coin, head and tails, it's 50-50. You may get a string of tails in a row. Statistically speaking, it's going to happen. So there's a question here from Davbar. Bull bear traps. Yes, come into the trading room. I'll go through bull and bear traps. Okay, let me know when you're in the trading room and ask me to explain bull and bear traps. I'm going to put some training on that eventually when I talk about, because it's part of base trading, understanding which way a base is going to break, understanding when a base is going to form before it does. We do that as well. How to know before time, ahead of time, that the market's going to go into sideways. Again, knowing it after it's happened is too late. You need to know beforehand, and knowing which way the market's going to break before it breaks is much better than getting in on the break, because many breakouts fail.